In case you didn't notice, there is a virus going around that has caused a global pandemic. I am a full-time musician who plays all sorts of live shows for a living. I usually play 3 to 4 concerts a week. However, all my gigs have been canceled indefinitely because of the coronavirus, so I'm performing from my apartment in an attempt to keep my music train moving through the world. Stop in and listen, say hello from a distance, and throw some money in my tip jar on your way out. Venmo, Fast Heart Mart, PayPal, fastheartmart@gmail.com. Hello and welcome to Episode 5 of the Fast Heart Mart podcast, COVID edition. I am your host, Fast Heart Mart. If you want to know why I'm called Fast Heart Mart, just look it up. This podcast is brought to you by all the grocery store workers and delivery drivers and delivery people and workers at Amazon and all the medical workers and all the emergency workers out there working on through all of this. Can't thank you enough. I hear New York City's going to everybody's going to coordinate a big clap and applause for these people, and I think that's a great idea. I don't know what else we could do for them. It's amazing. So thank you to everybody out there doing what you're doing, keeping the world going. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners just like you. Thanks to Mark in Albuquerque who donated yesterday for this podcast today. Thank you, Mark. Just for that, I'm going to play God Dog for you. Look out for a banjo version in the future. Watch a cartoon and listen to your mom plan out her day. And go through some old man as you ever forgot to assign your task, 'cause the project is probably not what you think you're projecting to the future. So let go of yesterday and let's go to the big buffet. Oh, look out. The most beautiful words are, what do you wanna do today? Can be anything, just remember to live it out here on the sidewalk. Walking my dog, I'm listening to God. Walking my dog, I'm listening to God. Walking with God and listening to my dog. And that was a video for God Dog. Sorry, Mark. I was trying to find the one where it's animated. There's like an old animated video for that that a guy named Ash Wednesday did a long time ago in Albuquerque. It was like 2007, I think, or 2006. And I couldn't find it. I can't find it anywhere. It's not on YouTube or anything. It's been deleted. So if anybody has a copy of that, of the animated video for God Dog, let me know. FastHeartMart.com. Yeah, the tips have, everybody's still tipping and stuff. They're getting less and less, but hey, whatever. And just so you guys know, even tipping $1 is fine. That's what I usually play for, like people passing by at the farmers markets. They throw in $1 or $2 and it all adds up. But there's always like a bunch of people at the farmers markets. This is a lot of reality setting in lately for me with all this going on. I'll get into that here in a minute. I'm going to stick to the script. I got a nice big long monologue script here today for you. I can understand why people are like, I don't even know why I'm asking for tips or I'm suggesting them, because everybody's kind of in the same boat. Well, a lot of people, I don't know how many people, I think it's 80% or is it 20% of people that are jobless right now. And so, of course, people aren't going to be able to tip. And that's not the point of all this. I'm just putting it out there and asking. And if you can tip, then great. If you can't and just want to listen, that's fine too. Yeah, I'm just going to warn you this, I'm not in a chipper mood today. I've had a big dose of another reality coming through my airwaves lately. Airwaves meaning into my brain. I'll get into it. I'm going to stick to the script here. I do try to keep on the sunny side all the time, and that's what I'm still doing. I'm staying on the sunny side mostly. I'm staying up, staying positive as much as possible. But sometimes you got to acknowledge the darkness so you can bring some light to it. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing here today on this episode of this podcast, is talking about some of the darkness that's going on, and maybe we can change it and bring some light to it. So hopefully somebody listens to this. Well, if not, whatever. I'm doing my thing. My friend Julie in New Mexico had some good quotes on her Facebook wall today about the subject. Let me see what they were. One was here it is. Stop imagining the apocalypse and start imagining the revolution. Stop imagining the apocalypse and start imagining the revolution. Yeah, that's great. I like it. I've always thought they were both the same. And I guess the apocalypse can be a dark time of chaos and upheaval and really unpleasant. And so can a revolution, though. But I see what the meaning is, and that's a good way to put it. And then what else? Oh, there's this other quote that she had on there. If we view ourselves as besieging victims, if we view ourselves as besieged victims who need to go into hiding, then we will cultivate fear and hoarding. If we view ourselves as a community working hard to protect the most vulnerable among us, then we will cultivate courage and helping. Mindset matters. And this is by a guy named Lynn Niehoff. I think that's a good one. It's a good way to put it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to stay out of the way right now, and keep those people who might be susceptible getting really sick, keeping them healthy and staying out of the way and not spreading this thing as much as possible. Even though I did have to go to the grocery store today, and it was quite the scene in there. Yeah, it's interesting how many people are going live now, and putting stuff up on social media of all this stuff, and I think it's great. I think that's really great. The concern I have is that this is going to all cause a big distraction. They're just going to be, the whole thing is going to be clogged up with people doing whatever, going live and putting out podcasts and stuff like that. And so I don't want to contribute to any clogging of the system with this podcast. I certainly don't. So I'm going to also yeah, I'm gonna do some public service announcements with this thing too here in a minute. But anyway, yeah, I'm just a little concerned. I'm creating a distraction from something that we might want to be actually thinking about otherwise. I'm also concerned that I'm cheapening my brand with these podcasts. Like I said, less and less people are tipping, less and less people are viewing, and less people are liking it. And I just feel like, am I just cheapening my whole thing? Should I just lay low and forget it? The good news is I'm only doing it 3 times a week. That's 3 days a week. I'm doing 3 episodes a week, and then I'm not going to be doing much on social media. Otherwise, I'll support other people and stuff like that, but I'm not going to be adding more content more than 3 times a week. Also, I've been watching the videos, and I don't know, the beard, it doesn't look great. Some people like it, I guess, but I'm starting to feel scruffy. Might shave this thing off, but I might not. I don't know. Maybe I'm just having a day. Do you ever know that feeling when somebody unfollows you on social media, but you don't know who it was because you just see your numbers go down? You like put up a post, you put up a video or a podcast, and you're like, man, this is great. And then your numbers instantly go down by 2 or 3 or 4 or 10. And you're like, okay, somebody didn't really like that, or they don't really like me anymore. It's tough to take sometimes. It's really tough to take. But whatever, just keep rowing the boat. I guess I just keep rowing the boat. I could choose not to discuss anything about this pandemic. Because I don't want to be a distraction. I could just shut down completely. I could just go out and drink a beer and chill out, watch some movies, and just forget about it. But I want to keep doing my work. This is my life's work. I'm a songwriter. I'm a musician. I'm a performer. Music, storytelling, jokes. I know they're not the best jokes ever. I'm realizing, people have told me this before, but I'm realizing my jokes are actually a lot less funny than when I just am myself. I think I think people just laugh at me just by like my wacky ways or something. That's cool too. But still got to keep doing some jokes. And there will be a couple jokes in this episode that I wrote today. And again, like I said, I can also use this podcast to spread what I think is positive information, helpful information. And so here is the public service announcement. These are the things that I think, and a lot of people think you could do to prevent the spread of the virus. You can wash your hands, you can wear a mask, you can stand 6 feet from each other, social distancing. I actually got called out for that today at the grocery store. There was like these 2 red lines, and I didn't see them. I actually didn't even see them. And this woman at the grocery store who worked there, she yelled at me, "Sir, could you please stand on that red line?" And I was like, oh, I was kind of like offended at first. Like, I felt like she was condescending, but I was like, well, she's right. If there's lines here and that's a 6-foot marker or whatever, then fine, I'm going to do that. But it was hard to take. It was kind of like, again, it's just like, I'm just hoping this isn't turning us into like a communist society or whatever that means, communist society. Like we're just like a bunch of robots being controlled. Other things you can do to prevent this spread of the virus, you can get hand sanitizer, of course. And if you can't find hand sanitizer, you can make your own. I've been showing in other podcasts that I've done so far. I had this spray bottle, just a regular generic spray bottle that you can fill with whatever you want. And I've been using whiskey and apple cider vinegar and a little bit of peppermint essential oil and a little bit of water and mixing all those together and making my own disinfectant. It's not as powerful as probably Lysol or whatever, but it is edible. You could actually drink it if you had to, so it's not poisonous. And it is effective. Whiskey and vinegar both have an antiseptic or antimicrobial properties to them. So you can make your own. Other things you can do to prevent the spread of the virus. Well, you can spray yourself with this stuff when you come home. Spray yourself with this sanitizer spray, and all the packages you bring in and any mail you might get. That's what I've been doing, trying to cut everything down. It feels like I'm working in a lab all the time, but it kind of are right now. There's just these viruses, which I do think there is one. I think they're spreading everywhere. You can also, to prevent the spread of the virus, you can boost your immune system with vitamin C and vitamin D. Hey, it couldn't hurt to boost your immune system, even if this is a hoax. Boosting your immune system doesn't hurt anyway. There's a lot of things you can do to boost your immune system I've been looking into. You could also detox from heavy metals in your body. That's an interesting one because this is going to be another topic, but apparently 5G, which is like the stuff that they use to transmit our internet and our phone and all that stuff now, and it's getting more and more so. It's very destructive. It can be destructive to your immune system, and it doesn't help your immune system. So you can even turn off your cell phone whenever you're not using it, like put it in airplane mode, or you could even think about unplugging your Wi-Fi at night, I think. I don't know. But these are all things I've been thinking about lately. But yeah, it's boosting your immune system is a good idea. Oh yeah, so heavy metals too. You can also detox from heavy metals by eating cilantro and stuff like what else did they say? Avoiding alcohol. I know that is one. So anyway, there's all that stuff. Keeping your immune system up. You can also grow a garden and watch where you're spending your money. Now that's the new one that I've come across that I'm going to be kind of focusing on today, because I had this thought today when I was watching a video of this friend of mine sent about this guy was concerned because he's seeing military tanks being transported on railroad lines, coming into cities, all kinds of military vehicles and weaponry or whatever is being transported all over the country apparently. Now this could just be because they're deploying the military to help with all the stuff that's going on with the pandemic. And I assume that I'm going to stick to that theory. But this guy was like trying to get people worked up and saying like, this is it. What are we waiting for? We got to do something about this. And it's like, I'm sitting back and thinking, what am I going to do about all these tanks and stuff that they're coming into San Diego if they're coming in? What am I going to go out there and put my finger in the cannon and tell them to stop or something? I don't think that's going to be effective. I think what you can do, you can infiltrate the system from within. And this is something I've been talking about for years. It's been kind of my platform for years. That's the way you do this stuff, especially right now when we're supposed to be isolating and there is a virus going around. There's other things we can do besides getting out there physically and like putting our fists up and stuff like that. We can infiltrate from within. Yeah, the other day I did joke that Amazon might be profiting off of this whole thing, and they definitely are. I'm sure their sales have gone through the roof. I have definitely bought so much stuff on Amazon recently, and I've been thinking about that even more lately, especially today after I saw the guy that was concerned about tanks moving in and stuff. Yeah, I think something we can do while we're isolating is question Amazon and all these purchases we're making online with them. Like, where is that money going? And are they paying their workers properly? I found a really good documentary from Frontline, by Frontline, that TV show about Amazon. I think it was done a couple years ago, about how they're not paying their workers properly. It's basically like a new Walmart. We were fighting Walmart back in the 2000s. Somehow they got dominated by Amazon, and they've kind of gone away in a lot of ways. They're not the force that they used to be, and Walmart is turned into something a little bit way better than they used to be. They have solar panels and stuff like that going on. I've seen even in some, because I'm in Walmarts all the time in my travels when I'm on tour, And some of them even have this special asphalt that they're using in the parking lots to help with erosion and the reflection of the sun. But anyway, yeah, Amazon. We gotta look into this. Both the shirts I'm wearing right now are from Amazon. My T-shirt underneath this sweater is an Amazon brand T-shirt. And I really like it. I really like the Amazon stuff. The Amazon clothing is actually really cool. It's really good. I've been using it with the like the T-shirts are great. I can't think of anything else that I've been buying, but the T-shirts are really good. And they have a couple other things that I liked of their clothes. But the thing is, it was probably all this stuff was probably made by somebody in China. And isn't that where the flu started? Apparently, is in China. And so, aren't those people who made my shirt? Did they get sick with the flu? And are they okay? And are they going to be able to make me any more new shirts? I've heard from good sources that all the textile places, within 6 months, we're not going to be able to get clothes and stuff because most of it comes from China. So that's the thing you got to think about too, is like, if you have some clothes right now, take care of them because you might not be able to get them in like 6 months. I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying to scare anybody or whatever. I'm just trying to look ahead. And these are vibes that are coming through for me today. So I'm just sharing that with you. Hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully everything's going to blow over tomorrow, or next week or 2 weeks from now. Who knows? How do we trust any of the news sources? We can't. That's one of the big problems. You can't. It's been happening for a long time now. It's like nobody knows who to believe, what news source is proper, which one's got an agenda, and it's just madness. And so no wonder we're in this position. When we heard a virus was coming, it's like, well, we hear stuff all the time. We're hearing stuff constantly about what's going to happen and what's happening. And so, yeah, I forget what I was saying. Anyway, yeah, we got to find a good way of spreading news, and that's obvious. I don't know if there's an easy solution to that, but my solution has always been to listen to your heart. If you hear a piece of news, does it resonate with your heart? Does it resonate as true? You have to ask yourself that, and that's why it's so important to be in tune with your heart, because your heart is your guide. And if you're not in tune with it, you have to find a way to get in tune with it. Something might be distracting you and you can't hear it because the heart speaks, in my opinion, the heart speaks very subtly, and you have to be able to feel those subtleties to know. Another thought I had, not just with Amazon, like we could boycott Amazon, or we could tell them, look, we want to see how much your workers are making. We want to see exactly how much Jeff Bezos is making. We want to see how all the managers, how much they're making, because we want the workers to be making good money, just like all the factory workers back in the car industry when they were making cars in Detroit. Those workers had to have unions, and they're not allowed to have unions at Amazon. I found out today that's like a thing. Amazon has been so against unions. But these workers, they need to get paid right, especially right now. So that's something we could threaten boycott with Amazon and be like, look, either you show us exactly what everybody's making over there, or we're going to stop buying from you. We're going to start buying from eBay and all these other sites, because there is other sites, and they may not be as convenient, but we can do that. So check into that. We could check into just boycotting, but also I've been thinking, I use YouTube to put my videos up on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. All those things are free, apparently free, but are they really free? We've known this for a while. If something anymore on the internet is free, it usually means that you are actually being sold. Your information is actually how they're profiting off of it, because nothing's free. Come on. And if it is, I mean, there is some things that are free. I don't want to sound like super jaded, but when it comes to commerce and that kind of world, things are not free. People don't just give things away, especially social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those things. We need to question that. And that is something we can do right now while we're all isolated at home. There's sites such as, there's one called minds.com, who my friend Nathan told me about years ago. It's basically a private social media that they have very good privacy laws. I think you have to pay for certain account levels and stuff like that. But that's the thing. If we expect to get something good and real, we're going to have to pay for it. And that's okay. Because when you pay for something, then you actually have leverage over the company. Like, look, if you don't do this, I'm going to stop paying and find another company. And that's how it all works. So we could use Vimeo instead of YouTube. We could use minds.com instead of Facebook. I'm sure there's probably an alternate Instagram out there. I'm not even crazy about Instagram anyway. I think Facebook is still the way to go, because Instagram's still limited. You can't share links and stuff like that. It's just about a bunch of pretty pictures and stuff like that, which is fine. If people are into that, that's fine. Unfortunately, Facebook has been taken over by a certain group of people who just, I don't know, they want to propagate, whatever they want to. But minds.com looks promising. I'm looking at that more and maybe switch over to that. I don't know. We want to blame the politicians for everything, but meanwhile, we spend money on things that contribute to the problem. Are the Amazon workers being treated fairly? If we really want to defy the government, we would stop paying our taxes. This is something that a man in Albuquerque told me years and years ago, and I can't remember his name. Don. His name is Don. Everybody knows him around town. He's kind of a nudist. Anyway, he was the one that told me that. This was back during the Iraq War or the 9/11 or something. And he was like, look, the only true way to protest a government that you don't agree with their actions is to stop paying your taxes. And that is definitely a option here. And we have never been this close, never been a better time to stop paying your taxes than now, if you ask me, in a lot of ways, because we're not going to be able to pay our taxes anyway. I don't know. Anyway, that's just a thought. Yeah, we went through this with George Bush back in the 2000s, back when in 9/11, it was 2001. And that's why all this stuff that's happened with Donald Trump has not surprised me, because it's just history repeating. All this is history repeating. I don't know, now everybody forgets about what happened during the Bush administration with, like, we're going to go to war against a country that we don't even know who bombed these buildings, or if anybody bombed them at all. And so, yeah, it's just like, I just feel like we're in the same boat we were in 20 years ago. We're going through the same stuff. It's back then we could have said, look, let's stop buying gas. Let's stop buying gas, because if they're obviously just going over there to get the oil from Iraq and Iran, or I guess it was Iraq and in Afghanistan. They were fighting the Taliban. So yeah, we could have stopped buying gas back then in the 2000s and been like, look, we're not doing this. We're not going to contribute to this system if you're going to do that. So we do have power and we do have control. We just don't seem to be able to do it and use it. And yeah, back like in the 2000s, we were all boycotting Walmart because we knew that they weren't treating their workers well then. And now it's Amazon. So it's like, it's always like cycles and cycles, but we have to hip ourselves to these cycles, and have systems in place for when they come up. Just like if in the future, if we have another virus scare like this, or another virus that's spreading, we should all have tests ahead of time. We should all have masks. We should all know what to do, the social distancing. So we have a system in place so everything doesn't have to shut down. And the same thing with big companies. We got to always keep an eye on them. Be like, look, are you treating your workers right? Because this is the way it always goes. Somebody gets super smart and thinks they've got everything, and they're not going to treat anybody right. And we don't let that happen anymore because we're smart. We don't repeat our mistakes. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm not frustrated at anybody else either. I'm frustrated at myself too, because I'm just as guilty as anybody. I've let my guard way down in the last 10 years probably. I used to tell people back in the 2000s during my performances, quit your job if you don't like what you're doing, because money is not real anyway. And what I meant by that is money is actually supposed to be backed by gold, and it hasn't been backed by gold. Most money has not been backed by gold since the 1970s. You can look that up. But it was there was a law instated called the Federal Reserve Act of 1912, I think. And that's when they could start printing more money than actually gold that was backed by gold. And that's when inflation started. And that's when I think the quality of life started going downhill in the world, because people were living off of debt and so on and so forth. I don't pretend to know exactly what I'm talking about, but I think I do. I mean, I pretend like I do, but I don't know if I'm actually, but that's the way I understand it. Money lately has not been real. Probably my whole life, money has not been real. It's just it's basically a religion. It's a belief system. And you got to have it. There has to be some kind of monetary system in place, but it has to be a real monetary system. It can't be one where the rich are getting richer all the time because you're just paying interest on money that doesn't exist. I've heard a saying, and it wasn't Harriet Tubman after all. I've looked into it, but there's a quote that says, "I've freed thousands of slaves, and I could free thousands more if they knew they were slaves." That's how it is. Jeff Bezos didn't do anything to us. We do it to ourselves, and we don't question where the money is going. A lot of us feel like this is the way life is supposed to be. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. We're not slaves. This is the way we deserve to live. We used to live in harmony with nature at one time in human history. I'm sure of it. And we decided we wanted to take control of things. And that's just the way human beings are. And I get it. I respect that. But it's really interesting because we left nature to now all we do is long to be back in nature. We're sitting in our houses and being like, I just wish I was camping. I just want to be in the mountains and relaxing and living off the land. It's we've come full circle. We're like going in circles here. And but unfortunately now we have so many people on the planet that it's going to be hard for us to go back in harmony with nature. One of the things that fascinates me about wolves, actually, I learned this as a teenager. I used to study wolves quite a bit. I was fascinated by them. A pack of wolves, evidently, they keep their population under control themselves because they inherently know, instinctively, they know how many wolves their certain land mass can support. And so once that population is reached, some of them stop breeding. Instead they become voluntarily aunts and uncles and help raise the pups from the alphas. And I think that's a beautiful way of looking at it. I've been in debates recently. I wouldn't say debates, but discussions with people lately who think that the world is not overpopulated, and maybe they're right. I personally believe the world is overpopulated. To live in harmony with it, there's just too many people. So we have a different problem on our hands right here. But that maybe is something into the future we could talk about and raise our children and be aware of that fact. Like, hey, if you don't want to have children, that's fine. You can help take care of other children, or you can adopt a child that doesn't have a parent. Maybe emphasize that kind of stuff. Because right now, I think a lot of people feel like that's part of life, is having children. And if you don't do that, you're not a valid person. And of course, I've struggled with that thought a little bit, not much, because I've been pretty adamant that I knew I didn't want to have children for other reasons. But I love children, though. I think they're great. Well, some of them are. Anyway, most children. I'm just kidding. There's some really nice children out there. My neighbors have a beautiful child, and she's so cute. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm so happy for them. It's a cute little family, and I love it. Anyway, Um, what was it? We live in harmony. Don't worry, I am working on a new COVID-19 song. It'll have a sense of humor to it. Speaking of humor, how about a joke for the day? I got off my track here with my monologue. There was supposed to be I was supposed to introduce a song before this. Oh, anyways, here's a song. Here's a song that I wrote back in the 2000s called "Hate Job," and it's a song about hating your job and wanting to quit and not be part of the system. And some people really resonated with this song. Some people did not. And this song is for you that resonates. And hopefully everybody's out there finding their peace and their passion, their bliss in the world, and they're living it. That's what we need, is people living their bliss every day. Here's a song called "Hate Job" for all you people who don't like their jobs, or all you people who didn't like their jobs and have changed their lives. Here, this one's for you. I went to my stupid job today. I hated it so much, but I went anyway. I hate my job. I hate my job. And I hate my job. I have to go again tomorrow. I have to go for the rest of my life. Work until I die. Work until I die. Work until I die. It's just me and the retirees out here on the bike trail today. 35 years. 35 years. 35 years. All right, that was a song called "Hate Job." It was directed by my friend Arjun McNamara. Back in, I think we did that in 2008, back in Albuquerque. That's for all you workers out there who hate your jobs. I'm feeling for you, man. Hopefully we can get you all a raise. If you're not getting paid properly, we're going to get you a raise. And then maybe you'll like your job. Hopefully that'll make you like it more. And because you can have a really nice life because of the work you're doing, because you deserve it. Yeah, if we realize that we are enslaved, then maybe we want to be free. All of us. Are we enslaved or are we not? Okay, how about a bad joke for the day? Here's a bad joke. This one's pretty weak, but I don't know, maybe some people will laugh. What did Jeff Bezos say to Bill Gates when they met? I'm richer than you now, you micro-softy, and all your humanitarian efforts. Thanks. It's not that funny, but actually, here it is. This is the real joke. What did Jeff Bezos say to Bill Gates when they met? I hope you don't get that virus, you micro-softy. You might want to talk to the Norton antivirus people. Ha! Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty weak, but I'm trying to keep some humor going, some somewhat intelligent humor, I guess. Why does Jeff Bezos and all those people like that? Why do they what motivates them to keep going? Like, why do they just want to dominate the world? Why can't they just be happy? Like, I bought a house and I have a wife and this is great. We paid for it and let's just chill. Like that's what I would do. I'd be like, man, I'm going to take a nice long walk and chill out and enjoy myself. But these people, man, and a lot of movie stars and stuff are the same way. It's like they just keep going. It's like I've done some great movies, it's made a lot of money. And now I'm going to give some other actors out there a chance that need some work. Let's do that. I'm going to just out of principle, I'm going to take my money and run and leave some room for other people who need the work. And why do people like Jeff Bezos? Not that I'm not critiquing Jeff Bezos, even though after watching this documentary on him, I'm not crazy about the guy, but I think he's very brilliant. He's smart, and I mean, good for him for figuring all this out. He made a lot of money, and it's very convenient to order stuff off of Amazon. So that took a lot of smarts, and I hope Jeff Bezos is helping people with all this money, and hopefully they're going to step up and help out because they've got it. They got the money, and hopefully if they're not paying their taxes, hopefully they pay their taxes. They start paying their workers. I don't know. Maybe they'll send me some free stuff. Just kidding. That's not funny either. Anyway, so yeah, we've been through this before, and I'm sure my grandparents were talking about this, and then their grandparents were talking about the same stuff. It's just always it's an ebb and flow. Life is a duality, and you have to constantly find a balance. Got to find some balance and keep things in check. You can't go to sleep. Can't be asleep at the wheel and expect that the bus is going to end up where you want it to go. You got to be on that bus, driving the thing and paying attention all the time. You got to always keep your eye on the road. Let's do that, people. Let's keep our eye on the road. We thought the world was going to end back in 2012 because of the Mayan prophecies, and maybe it did, and we don't even remember it. That's one theory I've heard. And I wrote a song called Mayan Prophecy, and a lot of people liked it back then. And so I'm going to play that one for you now, too, the video for that. I didn't feel like getting the banjo out today and stuff. People like it when I play guitar sometimes, too, so I didn't feel like playing the guitar, too. Well, I do, but I just felt like these videos were going to make more sense. So here's a song called Mayan Prophecy. Running out of fuel, stuck on the highway, stranded nowhere with roadkill pizza. Driving my car will be no more. When we all live in poor, civilization shut its door. Shut the door, Robin. Well, the Mayans prophesize that in 2012, the world as we know it will come to an end. I hope you had your fun. Watching pop culture, getting in a stupor, being distracted by the latest fashion. Watching MTV will be no more. When we all are living poor, 'cause civilization shut its doors to the end of the world. That was Mayan Prophecy by Fast Heart Mart, who's me. And that was Roblyn Crawford on the drums, on the drum, singular, and Tanya Nunez on the upright bass. Tanya's still rocking hard over there in New Mexico. I see her all the time on social media. She's a great bass player. And Robin's still doing great up in Olympia, Washington. She hasn't played much music lately, but man, it was fun playing with Robin. And I think she directed that video too. Oh yeah, it says filmed, edited, and drummed. I might have directed that video. Maybe everybody did. I don't know. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thanks everyone for listening. Remember, you can tip me on Venmo and what's the other one? PayPal. Hopefully they're treating their workers properly. And I will see you next Friday, God willing. And if you need banjo lessons, let me know. If you need any music lessons, guitar, singing, harmonica, just want some... Oh, I can serenade you, too, online through videos. And until I see you again, I'm not going to be doing this again until next Friday, because I'm only doing it 3 times a week, like I said, 3 days a week. I usually play 3 to 4 gigs a week, so I'm going to do 3 to 4 videos a week. Mostly likely do 3 for now and see how it goes. Because this is a lot of work. It actually is a lot of work. Even if it's super lo-fi. I mean, I think the sound is actually really good. But, I'm here in my bedroom with this lighting, and I don't think it's super flattering. But anyway, yeah, thanks for everybody for listening. See you next Friday, God willing. And until then, I recommend you watch the Frontline documentary about Amazon and the speech by Charlie Chaplin. And I'll make both of those linked in the description for this video underneath on YouTube, which I might switch to Vimeo soon because it's a paid program and it's like a lot more dignified. There's no advertising. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you so much, everybody. See ya and hear ya and listen to ya next time.